The Incredible Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, currently dead in the comics, though probably not for very long. I have a feeling he'll be back sometime around the release of Thor Ragnarok, due to the fact that Hulk will be co-starring with Thor, because his own movie franchise is kind of complicated in terms of who gets how much money, either Universal or Marvel Studios. I'm sure they didn't plan on that when they first put him in the Avengers. Not to be confused, of course, with Totally Awesome Hulk, who is Amadeus Cho, and will not be featured in this video. We're not going to talk about him. Today we're just going to focus on Bruce Banner, where you can start, and some tidbits about the character. He first appeared in The Incredible Hulk #1, written by Stan Lee with art by Jack Kirby in 1962. This is one of those pure creations of the original twosome who formulated everything that everybody knows Marvel to be. Now, you've probably heard a lot of stuff about The Incredible Hulk, especially since he first debuted in 1962, but did you know? Hulk was the first home for Wolverine, one of the most recognizable new superheroes of the modern age. Wolverine debuted in The Incredible Hulk #181 in 1974. Two of the biggest Hulk stories kick off with him being betrayed and marooned by his former friends and colleagues. Afraid of an unpredictable attack from the Hulk, Marvel's Illuminati, consisting of folks like Iron Man, Reed Richards, and the Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, and Professor Charles Xavier, trick the Hulk into space and send him to a far distant planet. This betrayal would result in the epic comic book series Planet Hulk and its sequel story, World War Hulk. Hulk can see ghosts. It's true. While the Hulk was originally meant to be gray instead of green when he first appeared, Peter David took that tidbit and created a gray persona for the Hulk, a version entirely separate from the dull green third-person talking Hulk. This one could speak, plan, dress himself, and even find work as a Vegas bouncer. While the Hulk has always been considered a founding member of the Avengers, after issue #2 in 1963, the Hulk wouldn't join an Avengers team again for another 50 years. Now, a lot of people who want to get into the Incredible Hulk comic books don't really quite know where to start, and I think that's why everybody kind of points to Planet Hulk by Greg Pak as being the first thing to pick up. I think that's a great book and a terrific seminal Hulk story, but I don't know if it's the first place to go. The reason being, it's such an atypical Hulk story. It's basically just Gladiator, but with the Hulk in it. It's an epic, world-building story, but it's not a typical Hulk adventure. That's why I recommend Hulk Grey, written by Jeff Loeb with art by Tim Sale. This is a deconstruction of the Hulk and also explores the color issues that, of course, we've discussed earlier in this video regarding the Hulk. It also plays into the Marvel Color series by that same creative team, where they take an element of the character and tell a kind of flashback story through the lens of modern comic book storytelling. Now, that should not discount Planet Hulk entirely. I think it's a fantastic story. I think you should definitely pick up both those volumes. In addition to Hulk the End, written by Peter David, the reason being Peter David is one of those writers that perfectly crystallized the Hulk and always dared to tell an atypical Hulk story. The fact is, everybody knows the Hulk's struggle. It's a dude who doesn't want to be a monster and then turns the monster into a force for good. We've seen that 1,000 times. The problem with that is, if the Hulk ever does succeed, if Bruce Banner is ever going to succeed, we're never going to see the Hulk again. So, obviously, the guy's quest is doomed. So whenever anybody wants to tell a really, really fun story, they either take him out of his comfort zone or they change the entire dynamic of the book. In Hulk the End, Peter David takes that concept one step further and takes the idea of Bruce Banner not wanting to be the Hulk anymore and amplifies it to 1,000 because he's the last man on Earth. It's an amazing story and a terrific lens through which you can analyze that character. And finally, my recommendation is, of course, Future Imperfect. It is so demonstrably different from everything else that the Hulk is, and yet it's so perfectly accentuating everything that the Hulk could be. And so it's an epic story that takes place in an alternate future where the Hulk has become a despot and he has changed his name to the Maestro, where he controls this dystopian future. If you like Days of Future Past from the X-Men, or if you like dystopian future stories like from Terminator, you will love Future Imperfect, especially if you want to get into the Hulk. So not only is it a great book, but it's also a terrific episode of Back Issues, our show where we talk about a book from yesteryear. So if you haven't had a chance, check out our full episode where we just deconstruct that whole book. It is a fun ride. So while you probably knew most of the stuff that was in this video, I bet you got a friend out there that you want to get into the Incredible Hulk, but you don't have time to explain everything to them. Just throw this video at them and they'll get a chance to get into the character and maybe get a couple of comic book pickups on the way. So we'll see you guys next time on Getting Into Character, and of course here on Comic Pop. I'm Sal, and keep reading.